Time for business. Kate Moody joins us. So we're getting closer to the light at the end of the trade war tunnel, at least when it comes to Washington and Beijing. Kate?
That's right. Well, we heard it from Donald Trump last week, but now Beijing has confirmed that Chinese Vice Premier Liu He will be heading to the White House next week to sign that Phase 1 trade deal. It'll essentially be a ceasefire in the nearly 2-year-long trade spat between the world's two largest economies, with some tariffs put on hold and agreements for the U.S. to sell more agricultural produce to China. The exact figures have yet to be confirmed. But Donald Trump has once again suggested that a broader second stage of the deal could be put on hold until after the presidential election in November.
We'll start right away negotiating Phase 2. It'll take a little time. I think I might want to wait to finish it till after the election, because by doing that, I think we can actually make a little bit better deal, maybe a lot better deal. But Phase 1 is a phenomenal deal. Could be up to $50 billion in farm product.
Well, a new poll shows that the majority of Americans now believe that the Trump administration policies are helping the overall U.S. economy. A survey by the Financial Times and Peterson Institute showed a 51% approval rating overall, with significantly more support among Republicans than Democrats, but a new uptick among independent voters as well. 46% of those surveyed said they were against tariffs on the country's biggest trading partners, and while many thought the hard line with China had been beneficial, only a fifth of respondents said they were in favor of that continuing. Let's check in on the day's trading action now. We saw more records on Wall Street, with the Dow Jones falling just short of reaching 29,000 for the first time. It was boosted by Apple shares, which jumped 2% to their own record high after reports that iPhone sales rose 18% in China in December. Boeing shares recovered from Wednesday's losses to trade up about 1.5%. The major European indices closed higher. We saw the DAX once again sharply outperforming there. In the UK, shares of Marks & Spencer plunged 11% on disappointing holiday sales. Well, the UK will be able to launch discussions about economic ties with various trading partners only after it officially leaves the European Union on January 31st. It is now one step closer to doing so after the British Parliament approved the government's Brexit deal. European officials have been increasingly vocal about their doubts that a trade deal will be reached within the 11-month transition period, which has been outlined by the British government. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen described the deadline as impossible, while the EU's top Brexit negotiator said there would be more urgency from London than from Brussels.
Yes, the UK represents 9% of all EU 27 trade, 9%. But more significantly, the EU 27 accounts for 43% of all UK exports and 50% of its imports. So it is clear that if we fail to reach a deal, it will be more harmful for the UK than for the EU 27.
They're distancing themselves from the family firm and striving for financial independence. Prince Harry and his wife, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, have sent shockwaves across the UK after their abrupt announcement on Wednesday evening. But it's also renewed questions about just how much money the British royal family has and where it comes from. Ellen Gainsford has the details.
They plan to cut the royal purse strings and move to become financially independent. But where exactly does the British royal family's money come from? Well, Harry and Meghan currently receive about 95% of their funding from his father, the Prince of Wales, who pays for their public duties and some private expenditures. From 2018 to 2019, this funding, shared with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, came to just over £5 million. That money comes from the Duchy of Cornwall, Prince Charles's portfolio of investments and property that earned £21.6 million in 2019. The other 5% comes from the sovereign grant, money paid from the government to the royal family, which is generated through a property portfolio owned by the Crown. With the young royals taking a step back from their duties, they're no longer going to accept money from the sovereign grant. But as yet, it's unclear whether they'll give up their other sources of royal funding, or how they plan to finance their expenses, including security, during the time they spend abroad.
You can't be halfway in, halfway out. They want Frogmore Cottage, and they want to be the Duchess of Cornwall to pay them, and of course from the government. That's not on.
It strikes a little bit of have your cake and eat it to me. So I don't know how much they want to withdraw from society, but Will and Kate seem to manage quite okay.
Harry has inherited millions from his relatives' estates, while Meghan was a successful actor prior to her marriage. In a statement, the Duke and Duchess say they now plan to focus on a new charitable entity.
All right, we know, Mark, of course, that they have taken steps to trademark their Sussex royal brand, but at this stage, really more questions than answers about that financial independence.
I wonder how people in Sussex feel about it all. Nice county, great place to live. There you go. Maybe they feel they've been misrepresented in some way. Anyway, good luck to them is what we should say.